Pump it up. Pump it up. Alright now. Pump it up. I want this call to quit. Take that motherfucker.
Hey, turn the car. Turn the car.
Hey now.
Tonight, a shooting investigation is underway in Gulfport. Police say one person was injured and is in critical condition. The shooting happened near the intersection of 28th Street and 15th Avenue.
In a city where law enforcement is constantly on high alert. A city where the line between a routine call and a life or death situation is razor thin. But on this particular day, that thin line snapped. Imagine losing the person who brought you into this world. Your mother, your anchor. The grief is so heavy it feels like you're breathing water. Now imagine just 14 days later, you're behind the wheel of a car, your mind clouded with that pain, and in a moment of panic, a split-second decision leads to a police officer opening fire on your vehicle. You don't make it home to your 3 children. This isn't a movie. This is the story of Fallas Williams Polk, a 42-year-old mother from Gulfport, Mississippi, whose life ended in a hail of bullets on a quiet Thursday afternoon, leaving behind a family that was already shattered by loss. Welcome back to True Crime Unraveled. Before we get into this heavy and heartbreaking case, I want to take a moment to acknowledge you. Whether you're listening on YouTube or catching this on Facebook and TikTok as True Crime Unraveled TV, your support means everything. We see the comments. We read every single one of them. The theories, the condolences, the conversations you start, they build this community. So keep them coming. It makes a difference. Now, let's get into the story of what happened on Robinson Road. To understand what happened to Fallas, we have to understand the environment. The shooting happened on Robinson Road, near the intersection of 5 Oaks Drive, in Harrison County, just outside Gulfport. Now, Gulfport is a coastal city, a bustling port town with a lot of heart, but it also has a reputation that's hard to ignore. Statistics paint a stark picture. According to crime data analysis, your chance of becoming a victim of crime in Gulfport is 1 in 28. That's one of the highest rates in the entire country. The violent crime rate specifically is higher than most communities of its size. In fact, over 96% of communities in Mississippi have a lower crime rate than Gulfport. In just the last 30 days alone, there have been multiple shootings and dozens of assaults reported in the area. Let's talk about who Fallas Williams Polk was before the sirens and the headlines. She was 42 years old, a mother of 3 beautiful children who now have to grow up without her. She was also a wife, a sister, and a cousin. But to really understand the tragedy, you have to understand the weight she was carrying. Just 2 weeks before that deputy pulled the trigger, Fallas laid her own mother to rest. Think about that. 2 weeks. In the world of grief, you're not even functioning yet. You're in survival mode. You're moving through fog. Now, take a moment to read the words of her cousin, who took to social media in the raw, unfiltered hours after the news broke. I want to read this to you exactly as it was written because this is the pain we're talking about. The cousin wrote, and I quote, "This clown ASS police officer of Gulfport, Mississippi just killed my damn cousin, y'all. Fallas Williams Polk. We just buried her mother 2 weeks ago, and she left behind 3 beautiful babies, a husband, siblings, and the entire family. We hurting, and we will not let this get swept under the rug." That's the voice of a family in agony. That's the voice of people who know they are staring down a system that has a long history of closing ranks. The cousin's words cut through the legal jargon and the official statements. They remind us that behind every headline is a family that is hurting. And they made a promise right then and there. They will not let this get swept under the rug. So, that's the lens we have to look through. She was grieving. She was likely exhausted, emotionally raw, and running on fumes. Her mind wasn't in a place to make calculated decisions. She was in a volatile emotional state, and then she found herself in a volatile situation. According to the official report from the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, which is standard protocol for these cases, the sequence of events began with a call for a domestic dispute. Deputies arrived on the scene, and as one deputy began walking towards the vehicle driven by 42-year-old Fallas Williams, that's when the encounter turned deadly. The MBI's initial statement says that she tried to run the deputy over, leading to the deputy drawing their gun and firing. She was taken to a nearby hospital to be treated for a gunshot wound, but she didn't make it. Harrison County Coroner Brian Switzer confirmed her death, stating that an autopsy would be held on Monday. No other injuries were reported.
Hey now, fuck it up. Fuck it up. Alright now, fuck it up. I want this call and quit. Say that motherfucker.
Hey, turn the car. Turn the car.
Hey now. No, fuck it out. Hey now, fuck it up. Fuck it up. Alright now, fuck it up. I want this call and quit. Say that motherfucker.
Hey, turn the car. Turn the car.
Hey now.
Now, here's where we have to ask the hard questions. The official line is that she attempted to strike the deputy. But let's pause. How do we define attempted to strike? Was she driving directly at him with intent? Or was she, in a blind panic, simply trying to get away from the scene? The cousin's post screams that the family believes there's more to the story. They are hurting, and they are suspicious. We've seen this scenario play out countless times across the country. A traffic stop, a domestic call, and within seconds, it escalates to gunfire. In this case, the Mississippi Attorney General's office will likely have to rule on whether this shooting was justified. But justified by law isn't the same as justified by humanity. Was the use of deadly force the only option here? Could the deputy have stepped back? Could they have waited her out? She was in a car. She had 3 kids at home. She wasn't a bank robber fleeing a heist. She was a grieving mother in a domestic dispute. The family is already bracing for a fight. They said they won't let this get swept under the rug. And that tells you everything about the trust, or lack thereof, that exists between this community and the police. So what's my take? This isn't a story about a simple villain and a blameless victim. That's too easy. This is a story about a system that too often leaves no room for human error, for grief, for panic. It's about a woman who was given no grace in the worst moment of her life. The deck was stacked against her before the first siren even sounded. She was carrying the weight of a fresh loss and the stress of a domestic situation. And when she tried to escape that pressure cooker, she was met with bullets. Did the officer fear for his life? Possibly. But the question we have to sit with is, should a moment of desperate panic caused by unimaginable grief be a death sentence? And when a family says, we will not let this get swept under the rug, what does that say about how they expect this investigation to go? I want to hear what you think. We will put this in the comments. Was this a tragic but justified use of force, or was it a failure to de-escalate a situation with a woman who was clearly in crisis? And do you think the MBI investigation will provide answers, or will the family be left fighting for transparency? Let me know your thoughts. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to Fallas' story. It's important we don't let these names fade away. If this video got you thinking, hit that like button. It helps more people find these stories. And if you haven't already, subscribe to True Crime Unraveled and hit the bell. We've got more cases coming up that need your eyes and your voice. I'll see you in the next one.
New developments tonight as an officer-involved shooting in Harrison County turns deadly. Authorities say a Gulfport woman was killed after shots were fired in the area of Robinson Road and Five Oaks Drive. She has been identified as Fallas Williams. Harrison County deputies initially responded to reports of a domestic dispute around 2 this afternoon. They add when a deputy began walking towards the vehicle driven by Williams, she allegedly tried to run them over, leading to the deputy firing his gun. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigations has taken over the case.